folks. Puffin here. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the Olympic coverage on NBC. I've been enjoying watching the Olympics, so I want to say that first. Appreciate being able to watch the Olympics and the sports that they're showing and the stories they tell about the athletes. It's been enjoyable programming. Unfortunately, I do have a couple complaints I wanted to share, specifically about the way Channel 9 here at NBC, the free over-the-air TV channel that you're watching the Olympics on, is kind of more like a hotel channel guide telling you where you can see other stuff instead of actually the Olympics. I mean, they do have some of them there, a lot of heats, and they do have some of the actual medal competitions, but they're often telling you go to this place or this place. Now, this is the first Olympics in like the streaming era, so they're trying to send you to another platform, Peacock or just the cable TV platforms, or USA, I guess, what you need cable TV for, I think. So that's kind of frustrating because it seems to contradict the Olympic spirit of trying to get everyone involved and get everyone to see these sports. You don't get to see as many athletes from other countries in sports that are even popular. It's mostly going to be focused on Americans, which it always does. But when there's less content, that's more pronounced. So you can see some of the other countries and other athletes on the streaming services if you look for them. But that seems kind of against the original, or how we always remember watching the Olympics, where everybody kind of watches it on TV and there's as much sport on there as possible so that everybody can see as much as what's going on. So that's kind of frustrating, just the nature of the streaming universe and trying to send everyone to different platforms. The other thing that is extremely frustrating about the Olympics coverage from NBC, because there's some things that are frustrating about the Olympics themselves, because they've made some poor decisions, some racist and sexist decisions for these Olympics. But leaving that aside, just the way NBC's covering them, it's also somewhat discriminatory. These streamed events, hours and days after the events have taken place, have the worst captions ever. The subtitled captions are done by some robot, but not like a regular robot, like a Tandy computer or something, or a Speak and Spell or something, trying to approximate phonetic spellings of people's words and just turning them into English words. It's disrespectful and rude, not only to the audience, but to the athletes for, calling whatever their name sounds like some combination of gobbledygook words. And it's disrespectful to the audience that actually rely on the subtitles to hear what's going on, what the announcers are saying, which often isn't that important. But, sometimes it really does help educate and bring people into the sport. So that's really frustrating how they have all this time to get the subtitles right, and they just don't. They just have terrible, terrible subtitles. And not just for people's names. I mean, just for all sorts of stuff. It's just garbled garbage. I encourage you to turn them on just to see what I'm talking about. It's funny if you can hear what they're saying and also read it and see the difference, and it's weird and humorous in that sense if you don't need the subtitles. But if you're actually relying on them to know what's going on, it's really frustrating and inappropriate that something that has this much money behind it and this much audience is not really accessible to everyone as much as it could be. And then that's the accessibility of the captions, but the accessibility of the programming itself, it's just against the Olympic spirit to have to pay extra to be able to see most of the stuff. I feel like if most of the stuff is on the free over-the-air platform, paying extra for the other stuff, for the stuff they can't put all on at the same time, is sensible and makes sense, and people will pay it. But, asking people to pay extra just to see, any significant number of events is rude and against the Olympic spirit, in my opinion, and against, the whole point of getting exposure for these athletes and for these sports that people only see once every 4, in this case 5 years. It is the nature of the streaming. And of course, most people who have the streaming, it's probably good for them because they can navigate it. But having just the free streaming of Peacock, it's kind of cumbersome to navigate. There's not a whole lot there. And then when you get to it, you can't read the subtitles. So those are my big complaints at the Olympics. The over-the-air channel is kind of more like the hotel TV channel telling you, you can go here, you can go here, you can go here to see these things, and occasionally showing you some stuff. But it seems like they kind of, who knows how they prioritize it, but just kind of wish they were doing a better job of those things. But thanks for showing us, and thanks for the side stories, and thanks for being respectful of the athletes when they have things like Simone Biles not being able to compete anymore. It seems like you treated that fairly respectfully, and try to give her both the platform to make a statement about it and privacy to deal with it. But um, things like that. No other major complaints that I can think of, but fix the captions, please, and maybe in the future just consider how you prioritize the content so you don't come across like a hotel guide. Thanks, and have a great day.